Hey guys, it's Amber and welcome to day 6. So it's taken me way too long to figure out what I want to do with this, but I pretty much have a plan now. So day 6 we ordered pizza. Sorry, I didn't have my photo over here. So what's funny is I had already started eating a couple of pieces, and then I was scrolling through Facebook and saw someone had a really fun post. I wish I had it with me right now. But it said they had like stamped out lovely cheese pizza just for me, which is a quote from Home Alone. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. I love that idea. And now here I am eating a cheese pizza. So I ran downstairs, took a photo of it because I hadn't even thought to do it. And so like a quarter of it was already gone, which didn't bother me at all. But I took some photos as best I could without any shadows and everything. And so I want to do a half circle page with the half of the pizza. And it's funny because I did do a pizza page a couple years ago where I had a really bad headache. Jared had texted me and said, chicken still frozen, ordered pizza. And I like woke up to that text and I made like a booklet out of it. So there was like a pizza and like a dessert pizza and stuff. But anyway, so I've been struggling just how to decorate everything and what patterns I wanted to use. Part of why I struggled is because I don't want to get everything stuck here. The back of day 5, has this like really vibrant plaid. And it's like blue, black and white and red. Like it's really distinct. So like just any old pattern paper really clashes with it. So I kind of dug around my patterns a little bit. And I also was trying to save this Noel one for a Christmas music page, probably for Christmas Day. So I went through my stash, and I believe this is either from 2022 or 2021. And this is one of the 10 by 8 plaid patterns. And I thought it matches pretty well with the style. So I printed this out on photo paper so that I can basically make my own, because I went through a lot of papers and couldn't really find anything that I super loved. I had other stuff that was just like red with stars or something, but I really thought the plaid helped tie it in. And then my original plan was to do the pizza on the left, the stamped title on the right, and I was planning to just do plain white cardstock on the right. I might still do that. I'm still trying to decide, because while I was digging through my stash, I found this pattern paper here, and like it really clashes with the plaid, but on the inside you've already like, you don't see the plaid anymore. And what I'm thinking about doing, I kind of sketched all this out so that I could figure out what size stamps would work. So over here, hopefully you can see it because it's just in pencil. I traced it the first time, like fully traced it with pencil, added the holes and everything, and I kind of just wrote out what I wanted to say, like a lovely cheese pizza just for me, and then if I have room, I'll put Home Alone. Then I started looking at my stamp sets, realizing that most of the things that I was looking at were too big. Like most of them are thin alphas, but they're like an inch, which is too large. Even though I can put this in 1-inch blocks, it's too wide that way. And I did pull this out because I thought about doing the Home Alone part in that font, but I've changed my mind. So the other thing that I thought about doing was trying to find a way to connect the photo of the pizza and the journaling together. And I remembered Allie had this die cut star from last year's kit, and she had cut it in half through the middle of one of the points. And so I thought, okay, that would be a good way to tie both pieces together. It's kind of the colors and like the dots actually kind of look like the way the cheese bubbled up and browned. So I thought, okay, that would be a good idea to help tie the two sides together. So I traced that, so that would be here as well. And then I also divided everything into like 1-inch blocks just to see really how much room this would take up once there's a star in the place. What kind of stamps I could fit. So I eliminated quite a few options that I originally thought, oh, this is going to work great because I had more room, but I really wanted the star there. Which leads me to this stamp set that I have from Heidi Swap. I've never actually used it. I bought it last year, I believe, when she had like a big sale. It's a 6x8 called Honey and Spice, and she also, I wrote it down so I could remember. So this is her Honey and Spice 6x8. She also has it in Blue Skies, which is solid. This is like a distressed stamp set. Hopefully you can see it. I'm holding up closer to the camera there. But the Blue Skies is solid and it comes in 6x8 like this and a 4x6, which is even smaller. But what's awesome is that I can blend the sizes of the letters, sorry, there's a little hair there, to fit into the spaces where I need them to. And lovely is the biggest word. So if I can fit lovely in there, I'm really not worried at all. And it kind of had the messier look that I was picturing in my mind instead of something like this, which is like really clean lines. And that's also why I had picked out this, because it was a little bit of a messier kind of font. So I'm excited to stamp this out. I think this is going to be fun. And with these really tiny ones, I think I'll have room to do the Home Alone as well. So my plan is to figure out if I'm going to do the striped paper or not, because the stripes are exactly 1 inch apart. And I think they go pretty well with pizza. So I could stamp on here. Now, if I do this, then I need to use black ink. If I don't, I'm planning on using reds. Not really sure necessarily why. I could do green. I could do literally anything. I could still do black. But I kind of just had my heart set on red. Not sure exactly why, but that's what I was picturing in my mind. So I also dug through my stash because several of Allie's chipboard sets have quotes on them. And I wanted to be able to maybe add some quotes, especially since I have room next to the A. And I think I'll have room next to the For Me. So this set I found, and this set I found. So the gold I thought could maybe go with the pizza, kind of yellow cheesy color. I'm leaning more towards black, whether I do red or black. But I pulled out both. And then I have this set from Citrus Twist Kits, which actually has a picture of a pizza slice. And then I also kind of found this while I was digging and said like capturing real life. And this also has a, this is real life. Like it's, could it be more realistic to have like a picture of pizza? You know, after the other day I had a picture of like a doctor's office doorway. Like none of this is like screaming Christmas and December. So then I was struggling a little bit with how to decorate. It's funny because for some reason I had my head stuck on the fact that it was day 7. It's not day 7, it's day 6. And the only one of these I used last year was day 7. So I was like, well, I can't use that. And so I was stuck on a number. Once I realized it was day 6, then I started playing with layering some things. So the trees are from last year's kit. The stars from this year's kit. I can't remember now if the 6 is from last year or 2 years ago. It's all blending together. And this is from either 1 or 2 years ago. So I think that this is going to be what my front looks like. I might switch out the trees once I get this cut out. So my plan is to, in a long-winded way, say that I want to get my first page completely done. This cropped, and then once I can kind of see the pizza next to the stripes, make a finalized decision, and then I will stamp out the title, probably zoom through that a lot, and then we'll be done. And I'm not worrying about the back. The back will go with day 7. So it'll either be just pattern paper to give your eye a place to rest, or it'll be a photo to be able to sneak in another photo. So I'm excited about this. I think it's gonna be really fun. And, you know, again, it's just another simple work day, and I think it's going to come out really cute. So I'm going to put you on pause. And sometimes people like to see these, so I'm going to show you really quickly some other options that I did consider for front page patterns. So if you remember, it's like a black and white cat with like the red and black checkered. So I actually consider this follow law, but to me it always seems like this should be with the music. I don't know. I know it doesn't matter, but so I did consider this. Did consider this to kind of help coordinate with the striped paper. This, which is really, really old Heidi Swapp paper. And then I also considered this because it was across from the paper with the cats. But I didn't want it to feel like it was leading into another page about cats. So that's kind of why I decided to stick with the plaid. So it still coordinates, but isn't themed. So hopefully that makes sense. So anywho, I am going to start getting these trimmed and get started. I'm really excited to how this one's going to come out. Okay, so the first thing I did was try to trace this on the back of my photo paper with pencil, and it did not work. So I grabbed one of my Bic pens and that worked just fine. Decided last minute to angle it. Was unsure about how it would come out, but I'm really happy with how it looks, and I'll go over that more with you towards the end. But I was going to try to trim the flat edge first, and then I realized it wasn't going to fit on my trimmer. So I trimmed around the curved edge first, and then it was small enough that I could fit it on my 6x8 trimmer there and trim a straight edge. So just seeing how everything looks on there, I'm happy with it. And I want to go ahead and punch the holes. So I'm grabbing my punch template there so I can line everything up and get that punched. And next thing, I'm pretty much going to do a very similar thing with the pizza side. This is actually enlarged more than the other one was. And I want to get a nice clean edge so that you can't see the cardboard box. But I could only print it so big. Like, you know, the pizza is perfectly round, but these half circles really aren't half circles. They're ovals, believe it or not. Because they're only 8.5 inches tall, but they're, 8.25 inches tall, but they're like 4.5 inches wide. So it's really more of an oval. It deceptively looks like a half circle. So the pizza doesn't fit perfectly, but I just needed to kind of do the same thing. I attached it all together with double-sided sticky tape and repunched those holes. And then I'm going to kind of set that aside once I do all my stamping, but I just wanted to make an official decision here on if I was going to do the pattern paper or the basil cardstock. So surprise, I'm going to go with the basil cardstock. I was just having a really hard time deciding, and I didn't really want to do all black stamping either. I think that was part of it too. So the other part too is that I picked Avalanche as the color, and it is a textured kind of linear cardstock for basil. And I cut that little scrap off there that you'll see, and I do this off camera so I could test how the stamping would go on the textured side, or if I had to stick the flat side. But I was actually able to stamp on the textured side, and I thought that I filmed some of my actual letter stamping, but apparently I didn't hit go. So it only shows you like right at the very, very end, me stamping a tiny bit. I tried to go do full words at a time. They fit, however, I couldn't press down hard enough with full words. It showed the texture of the cardstock too much. So I tried to do lovely, and I realized I needed to stamp everything individually. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking over what I'm doing here, but there you can see everything stamped out. It took me forever, but I'm really happy with it. And you also saw me pull out my booklet there of colors. Okay guys, I am thrilled with how my stamping came out. It took me forever, but worth it. I really am happy that I took the time to make this little template. I was able to use this as a guide. I didn't want to use pencil marks and try to erase them. This is like a textured cardstock, and I knew that it wasn't going to work well. I had like a little mark on here that kind of got smeared from the very beginning. But one thing that I did was, when I did my star, you can probably barely see it, I have 3 teeny tiny little pencil marks there, so that every time I kind of lined it back up as I was stamping and aligning the stamps, I could kind of make sure it was in the right spot every time. It was never going to be perfect, but it just made sure that I, didn't accidentally put something in the way. And then, I could kind of pull it over and then just make sure that things were within or pretty close to their 1 inch, but I actually think I did a pretty good job. I made a last minute decision to do black for the Home Alone part instead of all red. I could have done green, but I kind of just went with black because I had the little quotes here, and I thought that all looked really cute. So I'm just gonna get these stars put down. I have a little bit of 1/2 inch adhesive in the middle where the heart of it is, and I'm just gonna use rolling adhesive for the star points and then get those glued down, and then I just need to adhere everything to the front of this page. And like I said, really thrilled with how the stamping came out. Love the mix of all the different sizes of the fonts, the distressed kind of look, and Kind of just looks more like a kid style quote, I guess. And then for the little line there, I used part of the exclamation point. So I wasn't sure if that came across while I was trying to film. So I'm going to get these attached and then we will be done soon. Okay guys, so as I just mentioned in the live portion there, I just need to get these stars attached down. So I'm just peeling off that double-sided sticky tape, and then I have just some extra photo paper on my desk there so that I can use the rolling adhesive and roll off the edge of those stars. I just want to make sure that they're not going to pull up and get bent or anything in the album. So just getting those lined up. I actually had to peel the second one off and reattach it down, and then using red line tape on the back of those little quotes because they did not have any self-adhesive. So just kind of putting all that down, doing a little admiring, and now time to work on getting everything secured to the front. So I kept going back and forth between those two craft trees. I ultimately decided to go with the one that was all gold and not the gold and white. I just think it looked better, fit within that space better, I think. So I just used some double-sided 1/8 inch tape there to secure that down in place. So I just tucked that in before I moved any of the other stuff because I really liked the placement. And then next I'm going to work on securing that canvas word strip. So it's really flexible and I wanted to make it stiffer. So I'm just grabbing some more of that scratch paper and I'm cutting a little strip. I'm going to use red line tape to adhere it down to the paper to make it so that like basically it won't collapse into that groove of the whole of the 6 because it's going across both sides. Hopefully that makes sense. So then I'm going to just use red line tape on either side to adhere it to the 6 because I didn't want to use staples and I definitely didn't want to try to stitch through all the felt layers. And then just using red line tape on that craft star again as well. And then I'm going to just use red line tape on all of this to adhere that down. So I'm just kind of skipping through all that and getting it in place. Next, I just grabbed my tab stickers. I picked this set from the 2022 collection. I liked that bright red. It matched really well, and picked one that said every day and tucked it into the in between the two photos along one of the grid lines there. So I'll show you a live look of everything in just a moment, but definitely happy with this one. Okay guys, I'm so happy with how this came out. I love the stamping. So got the front finished and added on. It's not too thick even though it's like a lot going on right there. I love that I actually chose to tilt the plaid a little bit. That was not my initial plan. I kind of decided like super last minute, but I thought it might give it a little movement instead of just being square. And I added this everyday tab. I think these are from last year's set. I can't remember, but the red was a really good color. I peeled it open a little bit and stuck that inside as you saw. Peeling a little bit, but both sides were doing that, so it really wasn't anything I could control. But it just helps you open it up, and then nice cute little inside. Nice and simple. Did not end up finding a spot where I could use this little pizza chipboard, but I'm thinking that maybe if I save it for the gold circles, the circle labels, but I might be able to use it like on there. So I'm really happy with how it came out. I hope I encourage you to try stamping a huge title like that. And I really love this stamp set. Highly recommend it. So I will link that for you for Heidi Swap's site, the inks that I used, and I'll see you soon for day 7. Bye for now.